enact is a nonprofit dedicated to educational equity. We partner with schools to ensure educators are equipped to provide all students with meaningful supports to exceed a common standard. myANet is a versatile online platform that supports you throughout each step of the cycle. I'll walk you through how the platform can help you build expertise and opinions about data-driven instruction. Let's dive into a sample teaching and learning cycle. Leaders and teachers alike can view their school's schedule of assessed standards here, allowing for strategic backwards planning. Here you'll see an unpacking of each standard and sample questions from high-quality sources to give you a feel for what students will be asked to do on a summative test. Some leaders find the aspect of rigor and parts of the standard helpful to review prior to a math classroom observation. They may even script out what they want to see or hear in a lesson. Other leaders use the vertical progressions in writing to orient teachers to their grade level's expectations. Fully understanding what's come before and what's to come can help solidify understanding of the work of the grade and inform targeted intervention groups. The Resource Hub offers videos, protocols, and more. Maybe as a school leader, you'd like a tangible example of giving concrete feedback to a teacher after an observation. When your interim assessments are around the corner, you can find everything you need to run a smooth administration window. Instantly download materials for each grade. Analyzing formative results allows you the flexibility to respond to discrete misconceptions and target support for the students who need it the most. Let's say you're a third grade math teacher and your students have just taken an enact interim assessment. You can log into myANet and see your students' results. You can immediately notice strengths to build on. It looks like those conceptual lessons on measuring a figure's area with square tiles really paid off. You remember that the last unit was on properties of multiplication and division, and you know those standards are in the major work of the grade. It looks like while students seem to have internalized their facts, they still need support with the conceptual foundation and connection between these two operations. Let's dig in deeper. Question 15 was tricky for students. When you read and solve the item yourself, you can tell that it's about understanding situations that represent division. The distractor rationales can help you dig further into what students know. Looking at the answer choices selected, you know most of your students understand that placing objects in rows is one way to represent division. That makes sense in the context of the other data you looked at, since it's connected to using tiles for area. But it looks like students can as consistently determine another way to represent this expression, especially when it came to an answer choice that didn't use typical key words for division. Let's see who those students were. Looks like May and Gwendolyn chose one correct answer, but struggled to find a second solution. You'll be sure to loop back later with them for some additional support. For example, you might choose to re-engage them and others by solving this very item, building from their understanding of arrays to draw a picture of the muffins arranged in 3 rows. Or perhaps this lesson can provide some alternative reteaching ideas for small group intervention. At enact, we know making sure the text is at the center of reading comprehension analysis is critical for evaluating student understanding. With the text complexity summary pulled up, you can see key understandings and text features that made the assessment text complex. That will help you see where students made sense of the text and where they may need more support. Let's quickly check in on how your third graders did with this passage. It looks like your students did a great job identifying the main idea of the passage. This makes sense looking at our qualitative analysis because there is a single purpose introduced in the beginning of the text. On the other hand, students seem to struggle with question 4, requiring them to order the events of the passage. Yep, you remember from your analysis that while the passage was mostly chronological, there were a few jumps in the timeline to provide background. All these tools and more can help you provide holistic and text-first literacy support for students. After you review, you'll want to know if your students get it now. Reassessing is easy with our quiz tool, now available online. Building my quiz allows me to add aligned items and share with just those students who need it. When they take it, you can see overall results in real time, getting a quick snapshot across all questions. Our goal with my-anet is to make your job as an educator as smooth as possible. Each of our products bring the teaching and learning cycle to life by putting the practical data, tools, and high-quality resources you need right at your fingertips, so you can devote your attention and energy to the reason you do this work, meeting the needs of all students. Learn more about Achievement Network